Hello there. It's been a minute since I put anything up on YouTube. I didn't really even intend on keeping my channel going because of how sick I've been. That's why I made another channel, What It's Like, but it became too much for me that I was just going to focus on my chronic illness, physical illness, as opposed to mental health and happiness. But I still leave the link on my Instagram because there's thousands of videos that are still applicable and effective as they were with or without chronic illness. And with the passage of time, I still use the same tools and techniques that I use throughout my videos about maintaining happiness, or a little closer to happiness with my chronic illness, to whatever capacity I am functionally able to do that, depending on how I'm feeling and what else is going on. I still use the same tools. So it's still applicable, and I keep the link on my Instagram so the people that because I'm primarily a chronic illness Instagrammer, and I focus, sorry about the lighting, it's early morning, I focus primarily on my chronic illness, and that is still a useful tool for the chronically ill community and the mental health community, and I try to touch base on both. But primarily, I'm a chronic illness Instagrammer now. And even the things that I have managed to ramble on too long. Oh boy, a deer. I love seeing the deer. I hate scaring the deer, but I love seeing the deer. It's so wonderful that there's this haven right in the middle of town in his backyard. I love it. There's nothing like this anywhere near where I live, and there's nothing like this anywhere else in town unless you go to a special park or something. There's still not as many trees, so the woods are wonderful. I grew up north, and I used to spend hours after I got out of school or on the weekends just wandering the woods. That's what I used to do. So when I was much younger, like an adolescent. And then I moved to cities and cities and cities where there's just asphalt and gray and dilapidated buildings and houses divided into overpacked apartments that are crumbling. And especially being where I'm at, most people don't live there. They just commute for work, and then they leave and they go to suburbia. But there's not we're pretty landlocked, and I've been landlocked for years, so I absolutely adore this property, and I adore that it's a refuge for local animals. Seen everything from a scary freaking vulture, it's an ugly vulture too, to which I keep an eye on baby kitty because it was a big vulture. Turkeys with baby turkeys, hedgehogs, groundhogs, deer. What else lives back here? Woodpeckers of all types, even the woody woodpecker type. But when I'm well enough, I walk. Because rheumatoid arthritis needs a certain level. They say approximately 6,000 steps a day is good for rheumatoid arthritis. Because you can't, walking will not prevent the damage to your joints and connective tissue because of the rheumatoid arthritis. But what it will do is it will support all the tendons and muscles around the joint so that you are less likely to need a joint replacement, etc. in the future, because the foundation, this is maybe giving out, but the support beams are good, so the ceiling's not going to collapse. And that requires about 6,000 steps a day, from what I found in researching. However, with post-viral ME/CFS, myalgic encephalomyelitis, the disease formerly known as chronic fatigue syndrome, and not everyone with chronic fatigue syndrome has ME/CFS, but that's another long story. But post-viral ME/CFS, your mitochondria, your immune system, your autonomic nervous system, and other systems in your body, metabolic system, are damaged. And this makes a physical inability to produce energy properly, which leaves you depleted in your capacity to you're like a cell phone that's battery is dead, and not just because you didn't charge it, it's going out. It only takes half a charge, that's as strong as it'll get, and it dies rather quickly. That's what ME/CFS is, and it's biological, it is not psychological. So I have that too. And the real danger with that is, besides you constantly, you don't remember what it's like to feel well, to feel vital, to feel awake, to have energy. Everything you do, from brushing your teeth to walking across the apartment to go to the bathroom, requires a force of will. The only time you feel better is when you're not using your batteries, when you're not doing anything. Problem is that you'll get lot rot and deconditioning, and if you don't move, you get really sick and die and get other diseases and stuff. So you're caught between a rock and a hard place with that one. Arms getting tired. Because if you do too much, because it's an actual physiological, biological condition, and the body can only make so much energy. If you push the energy past the point of which you are capable of making, you damage the battery further, which means that if you do too much physical activity and cognitive and emotional activity, because that all burns ATP, it all burns energy. Thinking heavily, highly charged emotional situations, doing your taxes and other adulting, arguing with your team, whatever it is, that adds to your taxation, to your amount of, in the chronic illness world, what they know as spoons, your energy that you have allotted for the day. And so you have to take every decision that you make into careful consideration, because unlike most disorders where exercise will make you better and you can build up your stamina, with ME/CFS, true ME/CFS, if you push the battery past its 0 point, you damage the cells even further, and you damage yourself even further, and you actually develop a worser form of the disease by pushing too far. The first step in that is post-exertional malaise, which is an extreme worsening of symptoms, a flu-like illness, where you are like sedated to the bed and you can't accomplish anything for days, and you know you've done too much. But if you do that too much, and depending on how sick you are with ME/CFS, it doesn't take that much to be too much. It's not like a normal healthy person. It's like washing your hair, taking a shower is like you just did a heavy gym workout. It's a lot smaller allotment of what your janky old phone body can handle. And so pushing yourself to do movement can make you worse off and eventually completely bedridden. The worst people with ME/CFS are sedated, bedridden, basically living vegetables imprisoned in their body. They can barely get up, if they can get up at all. They're tube fed and IV liquid. They are captive in their own body. It's like being in a coma and being awake. It's rough enough just not ever feeling like I have the energy to do anything. I can't possibly imagine what it's like to have severe ME/CFS. I don't want that to happen to myself. So, getting those 6,000 steps for my RA to prevent future joint replacement is a tenuous process. I used to have a pedometer, but it broke. I need to get another one. And I need to track exactly what I'm doing in a day. so that I know I'm kind of approximately between work and home reaching that level without, we got a loud vehicle going down the train tracks. There's train tracks back here. Without overdoing it too much. And if that mark is less than 6,000, it's less than 6,000. I don't want to have joint replacement in the future. I don't want to be sedentary. If my former self saw how sedentary my life is now, I would be truly ashamed of myself. I would feel guilt and shame, but having the illness and understanding the illnesses, I understand now what I didn't understand then. You can't build up. You actually would tear yourself down in trying to build up. So you just have to find the sweet spot of what gets you down to zero and don't pass it. Don't move too little, but don't move too much. Definitely don't move too much. And so if my total general activity that I'm capable of with my broken battery of ME/CFS is less than the 6,000 steps that I need per day for future buffering of my joints, which at this point I'm pretty sure it is, because I'm not getting very much activity. I'm trying to take advantage of this nice last little bit of nice weather and make myself move. That's really hard. I mean, when you have a severe flu, a really bad bug, to get yourself up and like clean your house and go to your job and go for a jog and all that stuff when you're debilitatedly ill. It takes a special kind of force of will. And like I said, you can't force this will too much or to get sick. So if it falls beneath the 6,000 steps, so be it. At least I'm doing something. But I had kind of a point when I first started, but I lost it. But I just wanted to stick something up on YouTube. Do know that if you go back a little bit, most of the stuff on this channel is related to mental health, physical health, oh, the irony, like fitness and movement, etc., that I used to do and be able to do and enjoy doing. And any concept or content idea that I could come up with that related to ways that we become unhappy and approaches to making that unhappiness lessened and a little closer to happy. Nobody's going to be happy all the time. That's called mania. That's not right. But you don't have to be unhappy most of the time, regardless of your circumstances. And that's a tall ask. I've never had a taller ask in my life than becoming physically debilitated like this, to try to maintain happiness. It's harder, much harder than when I was healthy and ignorant about all of this. I've learned so much, but it's still possible, and the tools you find here are still applicable. And I am utilizing you to keep myself occupied. Arm is tired again. While I take a walk, because I had a really sick day yesterday, and I didn't move pretty much at all. And I thought my body would appreciate it. It's supposed to be freezing tomorrow. It's like the last good day. I thought my body would appreciate getting a little warm up for my job. And I'm able, surprisingly, able to do that. Based on how sick I was yesterday, I had low hopes for today. But seems to be okay. But I still don't want to go to work. Because, yeah, my 3-hour shift of manual labor feels like a 6-hour tirade in the gym. That's the difference between well Brenna and ill Brenna. It used to be things that used to be easy. for me are now physically challenging. But I also have other health conditions besides ME/CFS. And so, like the rheumatoid arthritis, and I have to do this careful balance, and my bipolar, all the mental health stuff that's on this channel, and chronic illness puts a major stress on your mental health. I have to do a careful balance of trying to do the things that are necessary to care for all the other disorders that I have, mental and physical, so that I am not completely vegetative and or incapacitated and wheelchair bound and really sickly in a short order by the time I'm like 50, like most of my family was or is. So I'm doing my best. That's all you can do, is your best. Give yourself a break. Whatever your circumstances, we'll change it to a happiness tie-up for the YouTube channel. Whatever your circumstances, however difficult, give yourself a freaking break. Your productivity is not your self-worth. No one is perfect. Even if you know a lot about health, doesn't mean once you get a chronic illness, those rules still apply. The rules change. You have to learn all over again. Learn about your illness. Learn what health rules apply. Learn how to put it into practice. You have to learn all over again. Nobody's perfect. So just give yourself a break. Stop being so hard on yourself. That's extra stress, and stress makes us sick. So mentally and physically, and it makes us unhappy. So whatever your circumstances, or your physical circumstances, or your mental health circumstances, or your life circumstances, you're doing okay. If you're still here breathing, if someone loves you, even one person, if you have a warm place to sleep at night, even if it's on a couch or a floor, you're doing all right. Give yourself a break. You'll be happier that way. Peace, love, joy. I don't feel joy that much anymore, but peace and love. And I do get happiness now and again. At least I get happier, because I know the things that I've learned over time when I was making the channel about happiness. And if you scroll, perhaps you'll find something that is beneficial to you. And I guess that's done. You've occupied me through 4 loops. Congratulations and thank you. Again, sorry about the terrible lighting. It is early morning, and now I need to stop. I feel like I have more energy, but I have to make myself stop, because if I use up my energy, I won't have any for work, and I will have a post-exertional malaise crash. I really wish I had a pedometer so I knew how many steps I was getting, but this will be my last loop, and I don't know when I will post on my YouTube again. But I would like it to be more focused on the original concept than my physical illness. And it's really hard when you're really, really sick. It's like having a toothache and a headache at the same time, to focus on anything else but the pain and the physical suffering. So it's hard to think through, it's hard to live through, it's hard to do through when you are really ill. Anything but your illness, because it draws your attention, because it fucking hurts. And it never stops fucking hurting. So when I get a clearer moment, I will try earnestly to put up something new, unphysical illness related, to the Happiness Channel content. All right, I'm really going now. Peace. Happy fall, y'all. Woo!